Have you ever found yourself standing in the shower, lying in bed, or staring out the window, only to realize your mind has wandered somewhere completely different? Maybe you're replaying an old argument, rehearsing a speech you'll never give, or living a life that doesn't exist. When you snap back to reality, there's a strange mix of relief and disappointment. For a moment, those imagined scenarios felt more real than your actual life. Today, we're diving into why our minds do this and what it really means. This isn't just casual daydreaming. You're constructing entire realities in your mind, detailed, emotional, immersive. You imagine confrontations with people who wronged you, moments of success where everyone finally sees your worth, romantic encounters with someone you barely know, or disasters you're preparing for that may never come. These scenarios aren't random. They're your brain's way of solving something it can't solve in the real world. Let's clear something up. You're not broken. You're not wasting your life in fantasy, and you're not avoiding reality because you're weak. Your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do. It's simulating, testing, preparing, and trying to give you control in a world that often feels uncontrollable. This is a natural, human process. Let's go deeper. There's a network in your brain called the default mode network. It activates when you're not focused on the outside world, when you're just thinking. For some people, this network is hyperactive. It doesn't just wander, it builds. It creates elaborate simulations of what could be, should be, or might have been. Psychologists call this counterfactual thinking. Your brain is running alternate versions of reality, not to torture you but to learn from them, to prepare for future moments, and to process past ones. It's like your brain is a prediction machine, constantly asking, what happens next? How do I respond? What could go wrong? When you imagine fake scenarios, you're mentally rehearsing. You're running simulations the way a pilot practices in a flight simulator, testing responses, building confidence, and preparing for the unexpected. This mental rehearsal is a powerful tool for learning and growth. Sometimes the simulation becomes a substitute for real action. You rehearse a conversation so many times you never actually have it. You imagine success so vividly, the real work feels less urgent. You replay hurt so often, you stay stuck in it. The tool meant to prepare you can start to trap you. There's another reason you do this, and it's tied to something deeper: control. In real life, you can't control how people respond to you, predict outcomes, or rewind and redo. But in your mind, you're the director, the writer, the actor. You get to say the perfect thing, be understood, and win. Your brain craves that feeling, especially if you've spent much of your life feeling powerless. Fake scenarios become a place where you finally have agency, where you finally matter. And that's not pathological, it's human. But there's a cost. When you spend too much time in these scenarios, you start to lose touch with what's real. The emotions you feel in the simulation can blur with those of actual experience. You might get angry at people for things they only did in your head, or feel disappointed when real life doesn't match the script you wrote. Slowly, the gap between your inner world and outer world widens. You become more comfortable in the scenarios than in reality, because reality is messy, unpredictable, and unscripted. Your brain, for all its power, struggles with uncertainty. It prefers the controlled, scripted world of your imagination. But life doesn't follow a script, and uncertainty is a part of being human. So how do you work with this tendency instead of against it? The first step is understanding what these scenarios are really trying to give you. They're not just distractions, they're your brain's way of processing, preparing, and protecting. Instead of shamming yourself for drifting, try to see what your mind is searching for. When you catch yourself lost in a scenario, write it down. Not to analyze it endlessly, but to get it out of the mental loop. Your brain imagines scenarios because it's trying to process something. Giving it form and words helps complete the loop and lets your mind move on. This technique is called expressive writing in psychology. It works because it externalizes the scenario, allowing your mind to stop replaying it internally. Once it's out, your brain can let go and focus on the present. Next, ask yourself, is this scenario preparing me or protecting me? There's a difference. Preparing means you're mentally rehearsing something you actually plan to do. Protecting means you're hiding in fantasy to avoid discomfort. Recognizing which mode you're in helps you use scenarios as tools, not escapes. If you're imagining a difficult conversation and then actually have it, that's preparation. If you imagine it over and over but never act, that's avoidance. Your brain uses scenarios both ways. Learning to recognize which one you're in is key to moving forward. You don't have to eliminate scenarios, but you can contain them. Give yourself 10 minutes to explore, then return to the present. This trains your brain that scenarios are a tool, not a residence. You can visit, but you don't have to live there. When you notice you've drifted, gently ground yourself in the present. Feel your feet on the ground, notice your breath, look at something real in front of you. This activates your sensory cortex and pulls you out of the default mode network, reminding your brain that this moment is real. Here's a mental model. Your mind is a river and the scenarios are the current, sometimes gentle, sometimes wild. You can't stop the river, but you can choose not to be swept away by it. You can sit on the bank, watch it move, acknowledge it, and then stand up and walk your own path. Scenarios will always be there. That's not the problem. The problem is when you forget they're not the destination. They're just your mind trying to make sense of a complicated world, trying to protect you, prepare you, and give you control when everything feels uncertain. You've spent a lot of time in those scenarios. Some of them were beautiful, some gave you comfort when reality couldn't, but you don't have to live there anymore. Let them be what they were meant to be, simulations, rehearsals, not replacements. A real life is waiting, messy, uncertain, and unscripted, but real, and maybe that's enough. Embracing reality with all its unpredictability is what makes life meaningful. The scenarios can help you prepare, but they can't replace the richness of real experience. Think about the moments you escape into your mind, on your commute, in the shower before sleep. These escapes are common and everyone experiences them. They're your brain's way of giving you a break, a chance to process, and sometimes a way to find clarity. Imagining conversations that never happened is a way to rehearse social interactions. You practice what you wish you said or what you hope to say in the future. This helps build confidence and prepares you for real-life situations. Replaying arguments from years ago is your mind's way of seeking closure. You want to win, to be understood, to resolve unfinished business. While it can be comforting, it's important to recognize when it's time to let go and move forward. Romantic moments with someone you barely know are a way to explore possibilities and desires. These scenarios can be exciting, but they're also a reminder that real connection happens outside of fantasy. Use them to understand what you want, not as a substitute for real relationships. Imagining disasters that may never come is your brain's way of preparing for the unexpected. It's a form of mental rehearsal, helping you feel ready for anything. While it's useful, it's important not to let fear dominate your thoughts. Imagining success is a powerful motivator. You see yourself achieving goals, being recognized, and feeling valued. These scenarios can inspire action, but it's important to turn imagination into real steps toward your goals. Your brain uses scenarios to process emotions: hurt, anger, joy, and disappointment. By replaying events, you try to make sense of your feelings and find resolution. This is a healthy part of emotional growth, as long as you don't get stuck. Our brains evolved to simulate, test, and prepare for challenges. This ability helped our ancestors survive by imagining threats and opportunities. Today, it helps us navigate complex social and emotional landscapes. For some, the default mode network is hyperactive. It doesn't just wander, it builds elaborate worlds. This can be a gift, fueling creativity and insight, but it can also be overwhelming if not managed. Your brain learns from simulated scenarios. By running alternate versions of reality, you gain insight, prepare for future moments, and process past ones. This learning is essential for growth and adaptation. Think of your brain as a prediction machine. It's constantly asking, what happens next? How do I respond? What could go wrong? This helps you anticipate challenges and opportunities, making you more resilient. Mental rehearsal builds confidence. By practicing responses and preparing for the unexpected, you feel more equipped to handle real-life situations. This confidence can translate into action and success. Sometimes preparation turns into avoidance. You rehearse so much that you never act. The scenario becomes a safe space, but it can also keep you from moving forward. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to change. Scenarios give you agency and a sense of self-worth. In your mind, you matter, you're understood, and you win. This is especially powerful if you felt powerless or overlooked in real life. There's a cost to spending too much time in scenarios. You may mistake simulated emotions for real ones, get angry at people for things they never did, or feel disappointed when reality doesn't match your script. This emotional confusion can widen the gap between your inner and outer worlds. Reality is messy, unpredictable, and unscripted. It's natural to prefer the controlled world of your imagination, but embracing the messiness of real life is essential for growth and fulfillment. Instead of fighting your mind's tendency to create scenarios, learn to work with it. Understand what your mind is searching for: control, comfort, preparation, and use these insights to guide your actions. When you notice you've drifted, gently bring yourself back. Feel your feet, notice your breath, and focus on something real. This simple grounding technique helps you reconnect with the present moment. Externalizing scenarios through writing or talking completes the mental loop. Your brain can stop replaying the scenario and move forward. This is a powerful way to break free from repetitive thoughts. You don't have to eliminate scenarios entirely. Contain them with time limits and boundaries. This helps you use them as tools for growth, not as escapes from reality. Remember, you can visit your scenarios, but you don't have to live there. Use them for rehearsal and preparation, then return to the present and engage with real life. Let your scenarios serve their purpose, helping you process, prepare, and find comfort. Don't let them become replacements for real experience. Your real life, with all its messiness, is where true growth happens. A real life is waiting for you, messy, uncertain, and unscripted, but real. Embrace it. Let your mind's scenarios be what they were meant to be: simulations, rehearsals, not replacements. Maybe, just maybe, that's enough.